Welcome, welcome. So today I'm going to talk about all the spoilery stuff from Robert Harris's The Second Sleep. Now, the reason I'm doing it as a live stream is because I think if I if I have more time and have a more chill atmosphere, I might express myself better. Plus, it gives me an opportunity to interact with you guys in case you're watching. So, welcome. So last year I made the review of The Second Sleep by Robert Harris, but how do I put this? I There was so much I couldn't say because of the massive twist at the end of chapter 3. So this is everything I couldn't say in that non-spoiler review. So this is my spoilery thoughts because this book, okay, this book has a lot of problems. The ending was abrupt, uh, not to everyone's taste, and some of the characters behaved in strange ways. The plot meandered in several directions. It's not Robert Harris's best work. Um, it's not but the world he created in The Second Sleep, I found so fascinating. So it sucked me in. I thought, oh my goodness, like there's something here. There's potential for a good story here, and there's potential for a good movie or TV series out of this book. So let's talk about the ending to get that out of the way. So there was that Bishop Paul makes like an evil speech about how he's going to control the forbidden technology and keep it a secret from everyone else, so he can get all the so the church can get all the advantage of the technology, and then everyone else won't know about it. And he'll hang them all as heretics, all the characters that have gathered in that tomb, so to speak. I don't know. And then a mudslide happens and kills everyone except the main character, Christopher Fairfax, and that woman he was having an affair with, the priest, Christopher Fairfax. And so, but he's buried in that chamber, in that ancient chamber, and he suffocates, he goes to sleep, and that's how it ends. When the truth of the nature of this world comes out at the very end, then he just wraps it up abruptly with that mudslide. So I can understand why a lot of people didn't like the ending. Now, let's talk about that twist at the end of chapter 3. So it says that the story supposedly starts in the year, let's see, what was it? 14, hang on. We'll go to the chapter 1 here. 1468. So it supposedly starts in 1468, but not our 1468. Mm-hmm. In the early 20th century, there was an 21st century. The early 21st century, there was an apocalyptic event. We don't know what it was, but this apocalyptic event, the society that emerged out of the apocalypse, out of the end of the world, is this religious society. I don't know how much of the world it encompasses, this new cult that emerged, this society that emerged out of this apocalyptic event. And what they did was they reset the calendar to the year 666. So this is like hundreds or maybe well over 1,000 years into the future. So it is alternate history because people are resetting the clock. They're retelling history. So in a way, that's alternate history. And in a way, this is dystopia. There you go. So, and I have plenty of time to talk as much as I want because this might be an hour long for all I know. There's a lot to say about this book. Um, so they reset it to the year 666 because that's the number of the beast. And then they counted the years moving forward like that. So I'm not sure how many thousands of years into the future this story is, but the world is trapped in the Middle Ages, and ancient technology like smartphones and computers and electricity is forgotten by most people, and any mention of electricity is banned. So this is a society in England that is run by the church. So this is a religious society that has emerged from the apocalyptic event. My guess as to what that apocalyptic event was is uh, the electricity just stopped working. Technology just suddenly failed. Like I don't know, I believe it's called EMP or something. Like if there's a bomb detonated in the sky and then it disables satellites and disables electricity over a country. Now, if you disable electricity, it'll mean people getting trapped in elevators. It'll mean people on life support in hospitals will die. It'll mean people will freeze to death in winter because electric heating is not there anymore. So the only way you can survive without electricity is if you have learned the skills of primitive survival. I haven't, admittedly, although I've watched quite a few videos. I could give it a fair shot, I suppose, in the case of such an event. My guess, like I said, my guess is the electricity failed, and then boom, chaos. Yeah. That's my guess as to what the apocalyptic event was. Uh, and so the churches, there's these ancient buildings that have stood for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. When people devote, when people get caught up in religion, they build buildings that stand the test of time, like the pyramids, for instance. So the people looked at when this apocalyptic event happened. People thought all we can do now is pray because we've lost everything. So they congregate in these very well built buildings, ancient buildings, these stone churches, and then from that, the society of the church emerges. It looks very similar to the Catholic Church. Let's talk about the religion that formed in the Second Sleep. Oh, by the way, but before I do that, let's talk about the title, the Second Sleep, because I didn't mention that in my review video what it means. So it's just a reference to an antiquated form of sleep routine, circadian rhythm, where you sleep in the early hours of the evening, and then there's a period of wakefulness in between, and then you go back to sleep again. Now, this apocalyptic event takes them back to the Dark Ages. There's the first Dark Ages, this is the second period of the Dark Ages. So it takes another secondary, the title takes a secondary meaning, the second sleep. Because in the Dark Ages, it was a regressive age, an age of misery, of suffering and ignorance, etc., etc. We all know that, and and so this book reveals that with this twist, the twist that it's in the future, that how do I put this? Yeah, uh, that the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, really were a dystopian society. Like if you the closest thing humanity ever had to an apocalyptic event was 1347. I mean, in the terms of how many people died, one third of Europe. You can argue that there were worse times in human history, but 1347 Europe was one of the absolute worst years to be alive. So humanity has experienced dystopia in 1347. And this is bringing those conditions of a brutal, short life, a brutal, short, ignorant life. That we all have to suffer in the distant future. Don't let don't let societies collapse. Don't let society collapse happen. We should be prepared for it. Sadly, we're not. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. On the Now, like I said earlier, the society that emerged, it looks very so. Eventually, the nation of England coalesced into a cohesive state where they have a king and they have the church. And the church, the religion in this book, has a lot of elements of Catholicism, but I would argue that it's not the Catholicism what we know today, because there are the new saints that they invoke. There's the banning of the technology. There's the apocalyptic event, which made them reset the clock, reset the calendar year. So, it's Catholicism, but with a few updates, if you know what I mean. Um, there's also King James onlyism. The Catholic Church today is not King James only, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, most of the practices in the church here is very, very Catholic. Uh, and of course, this society runs the state, and they're at war with France. They're at war with an Islamic enclave in the north of England, which is interesting, twisty twist. And of course, they're banning the technologies. They're suppressing the knowledge of the technology and suppressing the truth about the past, about the apocalyptic event. It's church heresy. I do wonder what the rest of the world in the second sleep looks like as well. Is there like are there other societies? Does the whole world react in the same manner, that people go to their religious buildings and then societies emerge out of these temples and churches and mosques and synagogues and whatever you like to call the place of worship? Has the whole world reverted to looking to these ancient buildings and saying, there is where we can coalesce and survive? Because all we have left is religion. We lack knowledge. We lack the technology. The technology has failed us. What's become of my hometown of North Sulawesi, here in North Sulawesi, Indonesia? I asked that same question for the novel Fatherland. By the way, I'm wearing headphones so I don't hear passing motorcycles and music. You might hear a lot of distracting sounds, but I'm not. So I'm not, shall we say, super distressed about it. This is so I can stay chill and I can focus on the camera and talking to you. So, yeah, this new religion, it's kind of weird. And I don't think the whole world is now adverse to technology, like avoiding electricity. There might be some outposts of intellectualism in or somewhere in the world after this apocalyptic event. And at the end, of course, the history behind the devil's chair thing, Robert Harris does not provide any easy answers. So yeah, and of course, and at the end, everyone just dies from the from the mudslide and suffocating within that chamber because there's no way out. That's basically the end. So it was at the end of chapter 3. Now, the reason I think that this book would make a great movie or series is if you make the twist, the end of the twist, that this is the future, not the past. Not at the very, very beginning of the book. Not that let's see, where are we? Let me get to where the twist is ultimately revealed. Not here, but somewhere like here or here. Like 2/3 of the way through, then the twist would be revealed in the TV series or in the movie. Because there are a lot, like I said earlier, there are a lot of problems with this book, but it would make an excellent movie or TV series. I keep coming back to this book because I'm so drawn to this fascinating scenario of when society fails, we turn to religion. When technology fails, we turn to religion. Is that so? Like we look, will we, like, if I'm in the middle of the apocalypse, will I look to the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and say, my salvation is there? It's fascinating. And this religion is Christianity, for sure. But how do they reconcile the apocalyptic event? Will there be like a second apocalypse? Are they already living on a heaven on earth despite this twisted reality where people die young all the time, where the life expectancy is super short? Are what's the church's theology over, will there be a second apocalypse, or the apocalypse is past and now we're in paradise? Uh, Pre-millennium, post-millennium? How do they reconcile what is said in the book of Revelation with the society they're living in this book, with the circumstances in this world? I would certainly love to know that. Yeah. So interesting questions this book raises. Um, I don't know. I'm at risk of repeating myself. So it looks like nobody came into the live chat because I did do subscribers only and I put it on slow mode. I don't think people appreciate that. But do leave me in the comments answers to some of my your potential theories as to what the apocalyptic event was, what this nature of this new society, this new religion is, like the details of it. How do they explain the apocalyptic event? Will there be a future apocalyptic event? How do they reconcile it with the book of Revelation? Because they still turn to the Bible in this world. They still look to the church and the Bible for guidance because technology has failed them. So, yeah, this. So I will. Let me just repeat myself one last time. This book has a lot of flaws. It's not Robert Harris's best book, for sure, for sure. But the world, the situation, and the world he established I keep coming back to it because of that. Okay, for anyone who will at least listen into the future, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would certainly like to know your thoughts on Robert Harris's The Second Sleep, the world he established. Okay. Let's make this video 20 minutes exactly, so that I don't know. I just like nice round numbers, so let's keep chatting a little bit. I'm still doing my read what you bookmark challenge. I'm almost done with. I'm still a few week, maybe a week away from finishing. A little over a week away from finishing book 3 of the Mist Reader, the Mist trilogy. Full review of that book coming up. I won't be reviewing Pet Cemetery. I'm about a third of the way through on that one. If anyone still wants to do this buddy read with me, they can, but I don't see why. I don't see why you want to do a buddy read. There's someone who wanted to do a buddy read of that book with me. I won't say his name because that's doxing. But yeah, I'm almost done with that. And then I'm going to permit myself one book haul after that. Is anybody, if you made it this far, are you going to be participating in Ollie's Garb August? I would like to know. I will. I have a book in mind that I want to get from my library. All right, timer's running out. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Goodbye.